Hi everyone, welcome to Breadonomics. In this video, I'd like to introduce you to the website which I feel is the most useful and most effective way to access data and economic information and graphs for writing economics reports for high school. It's a quick video, be ready to take a few notes along the way, and I hope it's helpful. Cheers everyone, thanks, bye. There are certain websites that tend to go up early in our search engine searches, our Google searches for economic data. One being Trading Economics, huge scope of data available. It's a massive tool. Here, for instance, we can see the Australia full year GDP growth, 5-year, 10-year. Then we run into a challenge where at 25 years or max, we have to be a subscriber. Similar, you'll find that in stuff like Statista, where you need to be a subscriber. So the problem is, where do we access our data when these sites that we've typically used are proving unsuccessful? Probably the best site for accessing a broad range of data, which is easily available for students, is the International Monetary Fund. That's imf.org. You might have done some work about it in your economics classes. I'm going to show you two aspects of this website that will give you excellent data availability. The first aspect we'll look at under the data button here, scroll down, is what we call the IMF Data Mapper. Click through the link. It immediately gives me real GDP growth, annual percentage change, for all the countries in the world who provide data to them, most do. And then it provides me with an opportunity to look at trends from 1980 to 2029. We can see here it's giving me trends on advanced economies, world and emerging developing markets. I'm going to add Australia into the mix, and I'm going to remove the world data and emerging markets to compare Australia's performance to advanced economies, who are both our competitors and our customers at different times in terms of the international trade relationships. So from here, I can discern cyclical changes in real GDP growth, and I now can make some comparison to the advanced economies to get a better understanding of how the Australian economy is performing in comparison to other nations. That's a really important thing to think about when you start thinking about your evaluation in writing research reports, is how do we compare to our targets, such as inflation rate target or unemployment targets, and secondly, how do we compare to competing and customer nations? I can then download all that data as an Excel file from down below. On this page, I can also do searches on other indicators, such as the unemployment rate. Once again, now I can start to compare advanced economies and Australia's unemployment rate. And it's important to notice here as well that as Australia has pivoted towards a greater dependence or a greater interest in global trade, in export markets, and that occurred during the 90s into the 2000s, the signing of free trade agreements, removing barriers to trade, etc., we see that our unemployment rate used to be above advanced economies, and now it tends to sit a couple of percentage points lower than advanced economies. And this demonstrates that as the Australian economy, compared to other nations around the world, is actually in quite a strong position, okay? And we notice that pivot occur. We can see the longer term structural trend in unemployment, going from these higher averages, 10.9%, 6, 7, 8, down to these averages we had through the 2010s of around 5 to 6%. So that is the data mapper in the first instance. Another useful tool next to that one is the World Economic Outlook, which provides you with a whole bunch of very useful macro indicators in a very easy to use process as well. For example, GDP at current prices, we can jump through here and we can start to compare that Australia's GDP per capita is now above that of our advanced economies. Once again, that pivot occurred during the period of time where we went towards greater international trade focus, greater export market focus. Jumping back to the original IMF page and back into data, just using the first one there. The second tool, this is a bit more of a higher level tool, but it is very, very useful, is the original data portal, which appears just over on the right-hand side window there. The original data portal is in the process of being upgraded, but it allows you to look at stuff in a much deeper level of understanding. So for example, we can see here there are direction of trade statistics that are available, which would show our import and export market. And I've pulled some of those as an exemplar. Here is Australia's exports. This is what you get off that website. Here are Australia's exports over time, 1993 to current. Now these big spreadsheets can look a bit overwhelming, but with a little bit of manipulation in Microsoft Excel, there is an export function on the top there, you could actually go and start to look at our total export to the world, or you could start to look at, for instance, our exports to specific nations like Denmark or China, anyone you like. On the same next tab along, it also provides me with our imports. By understanding my import and export data, I can then start to calculate my balance of trade with all countries around the world, or even my bilateral balance of trade with a particular nation. And that could be particularly helpful for anyone doing a research report in international economics. It will require you to export the data into an Excel spreadsheet and make the graphs yourself. However, we generally see that as a really helpful higher order sort of thinking task to be able to visualize our own data. And I think that you'll actually find that by doing that process, you will understand the data at a deeper level, which will help you to write a more perceptive analysis. So there are two simple tools that appear on the IMF data section, the IMF data portal and the IMF data mapper, to give you the trends and some great images to begin with, to start with. Hope that was helpful. I would strongly recommend you spend some time looking through those and really help the data come to life for your reports. That's it for Breadonomics in this video. Have a great day.